What's good? Welcome to the Blerd podcast. I'm your host, Douche, joined here with my co-host,
Brandeezy.
And we have a special guest today, Jeremy.
Reoccurring guest.
Yes, sir. This is the second time, right?
Second time.
And this is the Blerd podcast where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV shows, anime, all that good stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that came out.
From the last time.
Yeah. Morbius, Batman,
Sonic.
Moonlight, Sonic. Doctor Strange is going to come out in a few weeks, so next episode we'll be able to talk about that. But this episode, we're going to get into. We want to go over Batman first.
Yeah. That's the hot topic.
Yeah, we can go over Batman first.
The hot topic.
Yeah.
First, out of a scale 1 to 10, what would you give
10.
Batman?
10. That movie was fucking, honestly, I have him almost better than Ben Affleck's Batman.
Wow.
That nigga, son, the Riddler, that movie was so fucking good. That was a good ass movie. And for what, a year 1, year 2 Batman?
I hated how dumb the Batman was. Wow. I get it, he was year 2, but Batman Begins was year 1, and he wasn't making half the mistakes.
That's so different.
Everything that made that movie great had nothing to do with Batman.
That's also true.
The Riddler, amazing. The way they portrayed the city, even all the intricate characters, seeing Penguin come up, all that shit was dope. But Batman's contribution to it was probably the least.
But that's a reoccurring thing with Batman. The Dark Knight movie.
Oh, no,
What's the best thing about Joker? Best thing about that movie.
But here's the thing. Just because now that you mention it, with Christopher Nolan's series, I would say the same thing about Batman Begins. Batman was probably the worst aspect of that movie.
Yeah.
The second movie, though, they stepped that pussy up. You know what I'm saying? They stepped that shit up. So I'm holding off reserving how I actually feel about my mans until the second movie gets released. But I will say that his performance was probably the least.
Top tier.
It was not who.
That was top tier.
What did he do?
That was the top tier.
What did he do?
They showed Batman just being Batman, a young, fresh, wet behind the ears Batman, fucking up, fucking all this special ass fucking gadgets and shit. I mean, granted, he did, it's Batman, but it was just
hold on.
He was doing dumb shit the entire movie, though. What I'm telling you, he could have found the Riddler off jump with the pictures. All those pictures was from the same angle, and if Batman looked at those pictures and been like, "Who took these pictures? At what angle did they take these pictures?" He literally would have found this nigga Riddler in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
But it's also a year or 2 Batman.
Y'all keep saying that, but just because he's young doesn't mean he's dumb. He's still Batman. He's still the world's greatest detective at the end of the day.
He is the world's greatest detective, but I get where he's coming from. He's year 2 in the sense of not going to sit up here and act like Riddler wasn't a top tier mastermind.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was his first time tangling with somebody who was at that level of mental. Riddler had planned so far ahead.
Yeah.
That it was ridiculous. Batman had never encountered somebody. He was used to dealing with
thugs,
regular thugs, trying to steal a wallet. That's a whole different mentality. This man, Riddler, he had literally orchestrated people to, you know what I mean? This man was ahead of his time, basically.
I wasn't sure what time period this movie was placed in because it felt like early 2000s, late 90s, but they had smartphones and shit like that.
It's placed, I'm guessing later 2020s because his parents died 2001 2002.
Okay,
so it has to be 2010s 2020s.
Okay,
assuming Batman is the age that he's supposed to be, because Batman doesn't become Batman until he's 30 33 somewhere.
30
right?
33 34 type shit. And it's year 2, he's experienced Joker and Riddler.
And those are two completely different. Joker was just is just insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just trying to kill. He just wants to see the world burn.
Yeah.
As Alfred put it, But Riddler actually had purpose, motive, logic, reasoning.
Yeah.
Even though it was warped reasoning, it's still, he was a little bit more together than what.
He was also, there was no ninja aspect to Batman at all. He kind of just walked up to niggas and just beat them up. And I have no issue with that, but it's always nice seeing a little bit of a ninja aspect to Batman. I mean, that's a big part of his origin story.
Low key, it reminded me of like the Arkham series game Batman's. Like that's the vibe I got. Like no talking, just straight.
Just throw hands.
Yeah, like
The action scenes were also a little underwhelming, a little bit compared to like what it showed in the trailer. Like I thought it was gonna be a lot more like brutal.
I'm not gonna lie,
but it was more quick.
Batmobile,
son,
bruh. I was in that movie theater. I was like, we about to get kicked out.
this nigga, son.
That shit was
For
tough.
sure, we about to get kicked out.
tough.
Like, because I was in there making a yeah.
So, because my man's got shot, he on the ground, and then they panned the camera. It's like, yo, where the fuck this nigga go? You heard? I was like, oh shit, my nigga Batman! Oh my god! Son, and then when he came out that fucking fire with Penguin, bruh,
shit was tough. But did he need to do that?
yes,
A lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people died in that scene for him to chase down
Nigga,
one man.
listen,
Right? He
listen,
didn't even have to get in his car.
Listen, when you're a superhero, niggas die every day. All right, like when you fighting, niggas gonna die.
Where was this energy when we saw Man of Steel? Where was this energy at?
Hold up, we're gonna stop it there because I also need to correct you. You said superhero. He is just a hero. All right. There ain't no superpowers there.
When
okay?
you're a hero,
There you
niggas
go.
die every day.
Like a firefighter or a police officer.
Man
Continue.
of Steel, niggas was holding Superman accountable. That's kind of why, like, Batman had a whole vendetta against him. He was like, yo, this nigga, like, can literally kill anything.
Hey, Jay Carter said Vampire Batman.
So we have to hold him accountable. He did not need to. The scene was amazing. It's one of the best live action Batman chase scenes we've ever seen. But was it needed for him to kill all those people?
When you're rich like that, I would just pay for everything to get fucking fixed.
You can't pay for somebody dying.
Your superpower is money.
Hold on. He's holding your task here because your man's one rule is he doesn't kill. And let's not sit up here and act like
All those trucks exploding and shit. Somebody died.
That's his fault? Or was that,
Yes.
that was Penguin's fault or Batman's fault?
It was his fault because he got in the car. He initiated the chase. He didn't even have to get in the car. He got in the car.
He had to get in the
revved
car.
it up.
He had to let niggas know.
Did he?
I'm him. I'm him.
all right, I'm not gonna sit up
him.
here. I'm not gonna sit up here and hold because like that was a part of the movie.
They-
You know
they
what I'm
used to
saying?
out him, like-
that was a part of the movie. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? We just see none of the drivers' faces. Therefore, they weren't real people.
Okay.
Like, it was ghosts driving those trucks. Okay?
That's fair.
And Penguin was crashing. Like, he was making these cars fucking crash. So that's on him. Like, that man was causing all this traffic.
He was being chased.
Well, if I caused a crime, I'm going to run away too. Like, I'm not going to
Exactly.
sit there and let this 6-foot-something nigga dressed as a bat whoop my ass for fun.
Also, why did this nigga just stay there when he was about to explode? When that man was about to
Bro,
explode?
that shit
with
blew me. I was like, nigga, you hear him counting 3, 2. I was like, you're not going to, like, move.
Move
You're
out
not
the
gonna
way.
run.
That's the dumb shit I'm
That's
talking
the
about.
only unrealistic thing that, like, really blew me about that movie.
What are you talking about? Batman actually secretly has superpowers. That's the reason why he can do what he does, and he survived a point blank
Oh, is
explosion.
that what it was?
Okay.
And then the
'Cause I've
police
been saying
didn't take
that
off
for
his
years.
mask the whole time to check the nigga's vitals and make sure he
Bruh.
was good. They wanted to wait until the nigga was about to wake up to take his mask off.
He woke up and started throwing hands with all of them.
No, for real, that
Exactly.
nigga say, Mink. He's like, yo, get back. So when he punched Gordon, he's like, yo, just hit me. That nigga looked. Bing.
The movie was a 9.
Yikes.
I'll give
Movie
you
was
an
a
8.
9.
I'll give you 8.
You said 8.
Yeesh.
It was amazing. And Robert Pattinson was amazing. And I wasn't surprised that he was going to be great because I knew he was. But there was just a lot of holes, a lot of issues I didn't like. I'm telling you, like he could have found Riddler in the first 5 minutes with the pictures.
All right.
He could have tracked those pictures. Him doing dumb shit like, you know, putting his face up to explosion, chasing Penguin down. At the end when he had to fight those Riddlers people.
Yeah.
That shit was awesome. That nigga was really showing, like, yo, I'm him. Like, my fighting combat, my style, like, y'all can't touch me. And then even when Selena Kyle helped him and she was about to get fucked up, that nigga took the fucking adrenaline and just got up and boom, 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 boom. It's like, yo, stop. He said, nah, I'm not stopping. That nigga, boom, boom, boom.
That was hard.
There's certain aspects of the movie that I came into it with just like realistic views. For example, I wasn't expecting Robert Pattinson to display any ninja type of combat because he's not a martial artist.
What do you mean?
Like Robert Pattinson, the actor, isn't a martial artist.
Neither was fucking Christian Bale.
No, but Christian Bale does crazy shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like Christian Bale was like 150 pounds soaking wet, and then was 260 pounds to shoot Batman.
Yeah,
he does like as far as his acting method is concerned, Christian Bale goes way deeper into it than what. But even if you look at Christian Bale's like fighting, I mean, he wasn't doing nothing like, you know what I mean?
But it was still ninja ass like there was still ninja aspects to it. You know what I mean? Like he was still there was nothing ninja about his Batman.
But
about Robert Pattinson's Batman.
And Batman Begins, when Batman was fighting, he was fighting the League of Shadows. Those are nothing but ninjas. Like Robert Pattinson Batman was fighting like niggas who stay on fucking Tumblr and like just beat their meat to fucking bitches that see on the internet. Like they didn't have any fighting style.
So wouldn't he be nastier if he just got him out the way with some ninja shit instead of just throwing hands with them?
His combat was definitely way more of a just like a street brawler versus somebody who's been training, who's learned every single martial arts known to man.
Yes. The theory is that Alfred was the one who taught him how to fight and that he never went off. That Alfred was the one that, because Alfred said it in the movie, I can teach you how to fight, but there's nothing else I can.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't be a father. I couldn't be your father. I knew how to teach you how to like defend yourself, but I couldn't be a father. Yeah, he did say that shit.
So there's theories that it was just Alfred that was teaching them how to fight.
Shout out to the dude that played Alfred, because
Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
he's tough.
He killed that.
He's tough. He's in a lot of shit where he does
Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
was
Black Panther.
That was right. He was Claw.
Yeah. Son, that shit blew me when he was opening the mail and that nigga Batman was calling and the lady was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's too late."
Yeah.
I was like, "Bitch, oh my god, that nigga opened that shit through it." Boom.
The Riddler wants to capture everybody else, but fuck Bruce Wayne, the nigga who had literally nothing to do with any of the corruption. Didn't even know about it.
Father, bro.
I get you, but like you gonna try to capture everybody else, but then murder Bruce Wayne off top.
I know. I mean, he ended up murdering everybody else.
Eventually.
Oh yeah, I get what you. Yeah.
It's almost like the movie knew Bruce Wayne was Batman, and it wouldn't make any sense if Riddler.
But Riddler didn't know Bruce was Batman.
That's wild.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
He didn't know. Not even gonna lie, you got me with that one because.
But Riddler didn't know that Bruce was Batman. Like he had like
exactly, but
this is the Dark Knight.
Exactly, but the thing was, out of everybody else, his strategy was catch them, torture them, record it, kill them, or catch them, torture them, put them into a public setting, let them kill themselves. Bruce Wayne was the only person he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna send this man a bomb.
And he was the most innocent one. He didn't even give him a chance.
Kill him without anything else.
I mean, sins of the father. That's like Broly and Paragus beef with Vegeta. Vegeta ain't have shit to do with that, but because your father fucked us over and you're the next in line, nigga, you getting all the smoke that he should have got.
I see what you mean, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about why did Riddler approach Bruce Wayne like that? Why didn't he give him the same energy he gave everybody else?
Because the movie knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
That's all I'm saying. That's the whole.
As far as I'm concerned, you solved that mystery for
me. And
me.
on top of that, he kind of, not saying he had a relationship like buddy, but like he knew Bruce Wayne out of everybody. Like he at least was in like the same room, same picture. Like when they were kids, they're in that picture together.
What are you talking about?
Nah,
they were. That was him when he went to the manor or wherever he went to where those homeless people are at.
Let me find out Bruce Wayne the baritone.
Like Bruce was in that picture along with fucking Riddler. They were Edward Enigma. Bruce was right here. Edward was right here. That's why he literally pointed that out. They were in the same picture.
I wasn't actually paying it. Like I thought that was just a picture of the choir. I didn't realize Bruce was actually in that picture.
Yeah, Bruce was in that joint. So he kind of already had like a personal like, yo, you living all high and like mighty while nigga like I'm over here struggling like.
But that still doesn't change the fact that I mean it's interesting that you said Robert Pattinson did a good job because as I think about the movie, I can't think of anything my man's actually did.
Really?
Outside, like how many lines did he have?
Yeah, but the acting was in his eyes. You know what I mean? Batman is not really no. We got to be real about this. His acting was like subtle, like it was in his facial features. A lot of his acting.
I can't give you because I said this about Christian Bale.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give you credit for what you do as Batman because you can put anybody in that suit. As far as I know, that could be a stunt double.
Okay.
They can also be acting because it's an action scene. right? You can put anybody in a suit with the mask. Your Bruce Wayne scenes is where you show, you know what I'm saying, you're true.
Yeah.
And as Bruce Wayne,
But he
didn't speak.
He was Batman like 98% of that movie.
Bro, he was.
He was.
Like he barely was Bruce Wayne. Like he was Bruce Wayne when
The funeral.
The funeral. When he came back and took off the bat suit for the first time, and when he went into the club.
When he went into the club.
confront old dude Falcone. That was
And then when he found Catwoman, because that was right after the club scene, he pulled up on her as Bruce.
he was
On
Batman.
his motorcycle. Nah, he pulled up on his motorcycle,
No. He stalked her outside the building.
right? And then he followed her to her crib. Did he pull up on her as Batman?
Yeah, he was Batman.
Oh yeah,
He was
you're right.
Batman
He was
when he-
Batman.
She don't know who Bruce. Well, I mean, she
Yeah,
knows
facts.
who Bruce Wayne is, but like,
She only saw Bruce in the club. That's
Yeah.
right. Because after the club, yeah, he put on the
I
shit.
liked it. I liked how like subtle, like he did never. It seemed like a legit, realistic like a take on Bruce Wayne, like how he'd be emo and afraid of the sun. Well, not afraid of the sun, but blinded by the
Sensitive
sun.
to the sun.
Yeah, like
I
Dark.
I felt that. Like that whole there's something. In it. I was like, oh,
you
shit.
beat up niggas all night. You come back, bro. That's how you're not gonna be trying to crack jokes and shit, bro. You tired, bro. You're gonna be moody. And then it's so hard that he watches like all his.
Yeah,
his,
with
Yo, shout out to this
Yeah.
movie for real. It made Brandon a Nirvana fan apparently.
All right,
no, that song's hard. That song's hard.
Apparently,
That song is
It
hard.
made
Hey,
Brandon
that
a
song is
Nirvana fan.
hard. Like,
Smells Like Teen Spirit wasn't enough.
all right, Nigga, that song was hard.
Like the
Like,
naked baby cover art.
Right, bro. Like, my man, wasn't enough, bro.
son, hearing that song in that movie, I was like, damn, this shit. Like,
It went hard, and
did
then he
go
was
hard
playing
for
it
the
in the
scene,
back
but-
cave.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it just made you like, damn, bro, I want to like fucking sit in the dark and not speak to nobody. And like, yo, it's not like this is not a phase. This is my life type shit.
The
When
suit
I was watching the movie, I felt like I was watching what's the nigga's name in Twilight?
Edward.
Edward.
I felt like I was watching
Bro,
Edward in Twilight.
It's crazy because I went with the girl to see the movie. She's
I
like,
didn't feel like I was watching Bruce Wayne.
that's what she said. She's
I
like,
feel
oh,
you.
this is only Edward. I know him by Edward. I was like, bro, this is fucking Bruce Wayne. This is Batman. Don't say that Edward shit.
But his behavior, his mannerisms were the same as he played with Edward.
But it makes sense. It makes sense because Edward's a vampire.
Correct.
And Batman is basically the closest thing to a vampire.
I mean, you're
On
not wrong.
paper.
He only acts at nighttime, but at the same time, like, I don't envision Bruce Wayne as like emo as much as just like cold and tactical. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Bruce Wayne is like, because when I think of emo, I think like you're emotional. You're like, you know what I mean? Like you're literally out here just beating the shit out of people out of rage, not beating them out of like with a purpose in mind.
But
You know
isn't
what I
that the
mean?
whole thing about Batman? Is that's the reason why he goes after like average street thugs and shit? Is because he's reliving that trauma that scarred him when he was a child. He could go and attack the bigger fish and actually save the city if he wanted to. But it's the fact that he's actually just a scarred, hurt little boy, and that's why he stays at the smaller level when it comes to crime.
Oh no. He goes after, but you also got to think this is the same person who basically chastised Jason Todd for breaking somebody's collarbone instead of
all right.
using a different method to take him down. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, I trained you.
Yeah.
Like we know how to fuck people up, but you don't have to fuck people up. Like, you know what I mean? Every single time. Like there needs to be a purpose, and we need to be able to use them if you're gonna fuck them up.
Yeah.
You shattered his collarbone and put him in a shock. We couldn't get shit out of him.
I feel you. But
I
that's
know
a
how
old-
to do that.
That's an older Batman training. Like this is like we were talking about. That's a
Correct.
year two.
It is a young Batman, but at the same time, like as far as the training aspect is concerned, Batman doesn't start being Batman until he's done with his training.
Okay.
Batman doesn't come into being Batman. So I get him being not used to dealing with somebody like the Riddler or somebody like the Joker. I could understand him making mistakes and handling them.
Okay.
I can understand him being a step behind the Riddler. This is the first time he's basically had to go blow to blow with somebody who's on the same IQ level as him.
Yeah.
Not just somebody just trying to mug somebody and he caught him. You know what I mean? Like it's a different level of thinking.
And like, I feel like Riddler's like, he's gotten so much like bad like PR. Like niggas like think of him and just, oh, the Riddler. Like not knowing like, damn, like how do I like go toe to toe with the nigga who throws riddles at me? Like, and that are like good ass riddles. Like
Yeah.
that's some like it's not like Riddler's like some average ass nigga. This nigga's like, yo, I'ma fuck with you. Like I know shit.
No, some of the best like real life serial killers are the ones that like literally left clues and notes and shit to the police. And that's what the Riddler does every single time he does something. It's, I'm going to leave you a riddle in order to try to figure, if you can figure this shit out, you can figure out where the fuck I'm at. I'm literally giving you clues on how to catch me and you still can't catch me? Yeah, nigga, that's a whole different level of like, I done thought this shit through.
I found out that's
Ego.
I found out that's why he wears that like plastic wrap around his head is to cover it from like hair follicles falling on the ground.
Yeah.
For like, it's just like little details like that.
Everything was tactical. Everything
Exactly.
had a purpose. Like there was no wasted movement.
Exactly.
Everything he did, even with him going to prison, like that was planned. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And it was by, I think
So
it
he's
was,
Joker.
All right.
I think it was
Dark
by,
Knight.
correct. The Joker was the same thing, but the Joker is supposed to be on that level of like genius. It's just he does it for no reason. Like there's no purpose behind it. Like the Riddler actually had a point he was trying to prove. He was trying to clean up corruption. It was warped what he was doing, but there was a goal in mind. The Joker doesn't have a goal.
So
He just does shit because he feels like it. Like,
so he's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
That's exactly what I got.
Bane, oh yeah.
Bane's whole MO was to clean out Gotham and expose everybody.
correct.
So he's Ra's al Ghul from Batman
he's
Begins.
Ra's
We can do this all day.
yeah.
All Batman villains are the same.
Well, at least Christopher Nolan, like they all portrayed it was all about the corruption, cleaning that up. But I mean, let's be real. That's a part of that is Gotham's trait.
Yeah.
It's a corrupt ass city,
And this is by far the best Gotham we've ever seen. Like
bruh. A1.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
was
no, that
amazing
shit
Gotham.
was that shit was like that. Like when he said they think I'm in the shadows, but really I am the shadows. I was like,
And I felt that. I'm not gonna lie. Like the beginning of it, I was like, yo, you can really. I felt the like literally every shadow scared a nigga.
Yeah.
Like no matter where you was in the city, niggas would be like, oh, shit, yo, y'all see that shadow over there? It could be Batman. We gotta go. We gotta go.
that's Batman, nigga.
I kind of hate and think it's dope the boots that people hear him coming. I like and dislike that at the same time because it does invoke fear. But the ninja aspect of Batman is one of the best parts about Batman.
But see, we're going under the assumption that he was trading by the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
And if they take that out of this aspect of it,
Then all that ninja shit. is
all the
great.
ninja shit wouldn't make any sense. At this point, it would be more of a psychological thing, you know what I mean? Which is a
Yeah.
whole different level. Like, you can literally, like, the people that get away, they be like, yo, I don't know what the fuck happened, but all I know is I heard these fucking, like, it was like the sound is like somebody taking steps, and next thing I know, niggas was going down and I broke the fuck out.
Yeah. Okay.
So now the next person that go out, like, they hear that sound, they're like, yo, my man's told me about this. We gotta
feel
go. You know, like that's a
Yeah.
whole different level of breaking nigga down, basically.
Shit.
But yeah, it was still a solid movie.
Oh.
For sure.
Great movie,
And the sequel already got greenlit, right?
think so,
100%.
yeah.
Like the weekend it got released, they were like, yeah, okay, we got you.
I think they're
Go ahead for two.
I think they're gonna like go into the Hush, like his arc for the next movie.
Okay.
Which would be dope.
Yeah, because I saw them like drop the names, the Elliott family. I was like, yup, might as well go ahead. Second movie, go ahead, have them do that.
The director definitely said that he didn't want to do like a Joker movie next. So
With Matt Reeves. And they're doing a Penguin spinoff show. I heard about
Yes.
that. Did you guys see the release clip? The Joker.
Yeah, I saw
him,
that
Him
joint,
talking
yeah.
to Joker.
yeah,
What y'all think about that? I like the whole acid Joker. It makes sense because Joker fell into acid, so it makes sense that his face is all like burnt up and grotesque and shit.
See, that's another thing where it's like at this point, there's I kind of go into it with certain expectations. Heath Ledger's Joker was different from every other Joker we'd seen before. Jack Nicholson's Joker still very different from every Joker that came before him.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, even Jared Leto,
All
you know
different
what I mean?
Jokers, yeah.
R.I.P. Even Jared Leto, like his Joker was very different. Like they gave this man tattoos, he had a grill.
He was a gangster.
So every time I see the Joker, I'm expecting them to try to do something unique or different to try to kind of like, I guess, capitalize on like this is our Joker. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's something you have to do with that character. If you bring me the same thing,
It's not like Batman. You gotta switch it up a little bit.
well, it's also just everybody who's played these Jokers is hard to follow up with. Like you can't try to imitate Heath Ledger's Joker And the bar is just too high.
Yeah.
Like, if you fail, like, the only thing people are going to say is, yeah, but he wasn't as good as Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't set yourself up for that failure.
Yeah. Do you think they're always going to say that, though?
Yeah.
Like, there will never be somebody who will be a better Joker than Heath Ledger? You think so?
Yeah.
I love Heath Ledger's Joker. But I'm going to be real with you. Like, Jack Nicholson's Joker wasn't bad to me, bro. Like, I love Jack Nicholson's Joker.
I like that Joker.
Me too.
That man was on a, like, his antics were closer to the animated series Joker that I was used to. You know what I mean? My man's literally pulled a pistol out of his pants and shot Batman. That joint was as long as his leg. I was like, bro, come on now. Like, where do you get this? Like,
that one pistol that had the bang. The
exactly.
Yeah,
and he even had the like the zapper, the buzzer.
Yeah,
the first dude he killed was like,
that's right.
give me a hand.
Yeah.
Literally fried my man's in the chair. I was like, okay, bro, like this is the person I watch in the animated series, but live action, this is crazy.
Yeah, all he needed was an acid flower. He would have been set. Did he?
I
Have that?
think he had one of
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
bro. Like, he literally had all the gimmicks.
Yeah,
like,
But they always gonna hold like Heath Ledger is the bar. Like for Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He's the bar. Like whoever comes next, they're gonna. Oh well, he wasn't Robert Downey Jr. good, but he was good. Like
I don't know. What's her name's about to be next?
In comparison, Robert Downey Jr. is now the new face of all Iron Mans across the board. They have redefined comic book Iron Man, video game Iron Man, animation Iron Man to Robert Downey Jr. They have not done that with Joker. They have not recreated Heath Ledger's Joker in any animational or video game. They are still Mark Hamill. Across the board.
but the reason I would say that because that's because of the impact that
Mark Hamill he went dummy. Like
not even just Mark Hamill, just that show in general. Like Harley Quinn was born in that show. You know what I mean? Like that show was just a standard for a lot of different reasons.
Batman
so I'm not gonna hold him.
was born from that show. Like,
but what I will say is, to the Robert Downey Jr. point, that man actually set the bar for superhero movies. Period. Like if it wasn't Iron Man level after Iron Man came out, it was trash.
Yeah.
Like he redefined like what a superhero movie could be, because that was a fucking Iron Man 1 was solid. But
It changed the game in terms of like action movies.
I'm holding my opinion until I see these men get more material.
Wait, so what does this mean for the Snyderverse?
What do you mean?
Vampire Batman.
Oh, it's over, I guess.
no, it's not.
The Flash is about to come out.
That's why they pushed it back, because they're
And
trying
Aquaman
to
3.
they're trying to like bring the Snyderverse in, but like keep like the DCEU separate, but have the Snyderverse in its own way, DCEU, and then the DC Dark and Matt Reeves Batman. They're trying to just have it separate.
Yeah, DC got some issues right now.
But it's weird because the Snyderverse kind of started the DCEU, so it's like just keep those together, and then
The DCEU is the Snyderverse.
literally.
But you know what the issue is? Robert Downey Jr. kicked them in the fucking nuts. That's what the problem is. They didn't have to worry about this shit until Robert Downey Jr. came out with Iron Man. They were like, oh, shit, they're expecting more from us now.
Yeah, because Warner Brothers, because with, like, the Marvel movies, they make, like, jokes and shit. So that's Marvel's kind of, like, that's their thing, like, being lighthearted. DC is a dark, like they're known for dark shit. So when Batman v Superman came out, like, oh, this is too dark. Like, you can't do this. And it's like, you can't compare, like, Civil War to Batman v Superman because you were throwing jokes left and right in this movie versus a dark movie.
Sure, bro. When Batman Begins came out, like, there was no jokes in that movie at all. Like, Christopher Nolan's Batman didn't have no jokes. Man of Steel definitely didn't have no jokes, bro. That shit was savage as fuck.
Yeah, Superman kills Zod.
It
Yeah.
had little moments though when when he was sleeping at the board meetings and his little banter with Lucius Fox when he would say
Oh yeah.
I
I got you. Like there was some slight humor.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't
Marvel
humor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like these motherfuckers.
And I feel like low key Marvel kind of like ruined superhero movies by like some people have expectations of a joke being thrown in a superhero movie, and it's like, like
I feel you, but I feel like it depends on the context because action and comedy have always been a beautiful like blending of movies. Like I feel like those two are the most compatible genres when it comes to movies. is action and comedy. So they just flow well together. That's why it's so easy for Marvel just to throw them in the movies like that. You know what I mean?
I think Marvel also just has a lot of comical characters. Like, when you think about it, Spider-Man is known for cracking jokes. Deadpool is literally a meme.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I think Marvel already had their character set up to be comical, which is why it made it easy. But DC does not.
DC got Flash, Green Lantern, Shazam. They have some guys who crack jokes on. That's the starting lineup too.
I mean, but like,
And all of those characters that you just named, when they put them on movies, they're fucking memes.
yeah.
Shazam was a walking meme. Flash was a walking meme.
So what?
Give us
What's
Green Lantern, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a walking meme because all the Justice League animated series, that's literally what he is. The one that they use for like War and
Oh yeah,
War movie and the movie that came
Justice League Dark. Literally that whole series, all the animated series has been.
He's
So
the
what's-
walking meme.
So what separates Marvel from everyone being memes? Since everyone cracks jokes at the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Not everybody. Not everybody cracks jokes in Marvel.
most
but-
most of the heroes crack jokes.
Yeah.
Let me put it like this: DCEU, they crack jokes in the sense of like that's all you look at their character as. The characters in the MCU have more personality with jokes on the side, as opposed to their joke being the center to them.
So Flash is just you just look
He
at
was
Flash.
just a walking meme. Think about it. What characterness did Flash really have up until the last 30
You mean
20
the whole
minutes
time
of
that
a
his
5-hour movie?
his main purpose is trying to get his father out of jail? Like that doesn't add any character. Like he
How
had
much
a,
time did we spend on that? 5-hour movie.
Yeah.
How much time did we spend on that?
I mean, I get where he's coming from. Like, anytime Flash was in a scene,
It was a
think
meme.
about it, it was just like to joke. Especially like if you look at the original movie, it was even more so like him falling on
Yeah.
Wonder Woman and the whole
Being-
breast thing being awkward.
Yeah.
Brunch.
Even when he saves the people in the truck, he then sees Superman come by with a whole like apartment building full of people that he just saved
I
at the
feel
same
you.
time. Like the Flash was just, I just push people and run. You know what I mean? Like his whole thing was just to be funny. He was comic relief.
Isn't he always been the funny guy though? Or
Yeah,
am I
but
tripping?
Flash has more character to him in other sources.
That's
Think
what
about Flashpoint. He's silly. He's memeish. But Flashpoint was a good story about Flash.
That was his movie though.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, in DCU, it's comedy first, character development second.
Like even if you look at like Justice League, the animated series. Think about that. There was an episode where literally the difference between the Justice League being the Justice League and just like about freedom and truth, and them being the
Justice
Justice Lords
Yeah, it was
was
Flash.
Flash being dead.
Yep.
That's the Flash dying was that dramatic of a shift. They went from being heroes to tyrants just because they lost that one member.
Yeah.
Like that's how impactful the Flash was. He's just he's good-hearted. That's what I was gonna say. I was actually gonna say like if you look how Flash interacts even with like his villains. Like I think it was actually on the Justice League, but like it was an episode where they were opening the Flash Museum.
Oh yeah.
And dedicating it to him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
all of his villains decided to fuck with him on that day.
I think I
Right.
know what you're
And
talking
he
about.
had like the trickster, and like the trickster's actually like a crazy dude. You know what I mean? So he like
Yeah.
finds him, he's like, yo, you off your meds? What the fuck's going on, bro? Come on, bro. You know better than this. Let's get you on your meds. Let's get you back home.
Did you
Like,
catch him at a bar?
Yeah.
yeah, he caught him at a bar. He literally caught him at a bar and was like, come on, bro. Like, what's going on? Let's get you an Uber home. Like, that was the Flash with his villain. This is one of his rogues gallery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and even Boomerang and them, they were just trying to like catch him. It wasn't like we want to kill you. It was just like we want to beat you once. It's more of a competition between him and his villains because of his character.
Okay.
Like his villains are, and I think they did a good job of showing that in the show on CW.
He made his villain stop trying to kill.
Exactly. He came to an agreement with Captain Cold. Like, all right, look, you know who I am. I know who you are. How about this? You try to commit a crime. I know you're smart enough where you can commit a crime without hurting anybody. If I can't catch you, then fine. Fuck it. You got away. But if I do, you know what I'm saying? You know what time it is, basically. Like, but he came to that agreement with his hero, like with his villains. Batman doesn't have that. Superman doesn't have that. There's no other hero that's quite like the Flash, just as a person. You know what I mean? He's just a good dude. But they don't display that in like the DCU or the DCEU.
I feel
You don't see that. You just see him as like, oh, he's just there for jokes. He's literally only a comic relief. We don't have any There's no reason to invest into the character outside of him just cracking a joke. If he's not cracking a joke, you don't care. Like, his dad being in prison felt very small to me because after that, the only thing that happened was just comical shit.
I feel you.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. No.
Right?
Yeah, really. Because even when he was filling out application at that little, like pet store, that was a joke that entire scene was a joke.
It was all a joke. All of it was a joke. Even him saving Iris was a joke. My man grabs a hot dog, like, you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is just like, just meant to be funny. And that's me saying that as like, at this point in my life, the Flash is probably one of my favorite DC characters. Like, I'm having a hard time saying who I would put over him.
Yeah.
Because he's crazy strong, but he's also a good dude.
He's a better superhero than Batman.
Let's relax.
It sucks to say, but
let's calm down.
It really is true. Batman is a terrible superhero.
His city ain't corrupt.
Let's calm down.
Gotham is actually a shit show.
Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm.
And I love Batman, but we gotta be honest.
Let's calm down.
We gotta call a spade on this one.
Let's calm down. Listen,
he gotta do something else.
If Batman wasn't in Gotham, them niggas would lose their mind.
Niggas lose their mind regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The city's already lost, bro.
If anything, he's making it worse.
I was about to say, didn't Batman create half his villains
Yes.
by being Batman?
Hey,
that's part of the Riddler.
a small price to pay.
All right. For the continued corruption of your city.
I mean, Superman's villains, like Metallo, like half of these villains, like they not saying like he created them, but he had a small like hand in. All right, you know
they were specifically designed to combat Superman.
Yeah, he didn't create that. They created that to beat his ass.
You have to realize Batman is literally turning ordinary citizens into supervillains. All right, on a regular basis. Like the Riddler went from being a nobody to a mass killer.
I mean, Bane wasn't like a regular nobody. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was. I mean, he wasn't like a regular nobody, but he was a nobody.
Was his thing always to? I know he grew up in a prison. He grew up his whole life in a prison. Was his original goal always to go to Gotham and beat Batman?
Yeah, that was his whole MO. Like he had like no other motive but to just fuck with Batman.
That's Christopher Nolan's
No.
Bane, right?
No, original
Comic book Bane.
Yeah, the Nightfall
did come specifically to Gotham to beat Batman.
That's
Okay.
right.
Because Batman was beating everybody, so Bane was like, "Oh, let me."
show y'all how it's done.
Yeah.
and he found out like who he was, like where he stays at. My man's pulled up to the
Pulled up on
Batcave,
him,
whooped Alfred, beat Batman, and left. He said, "Well, I did what I had to do."
I don't understand why everybody was struggling with this guy.
Yeah, that's wild.
All they had to do was pick him up and bend him over their knee and walk away. Job done.
I mean, but in fairness, this Batman had lost Jason Todd, had literally fought almost everybody in Arkham Asylum. He was tired as shit. He got back home, and Bane just caught him.
I mean, that's
Didn't
called
Bane
good
orchestrate
timing.
That, though? No, I think Bane orchestrated that.
Yeah.
The whole Arkham Asylum breakout. In the comic books?
Yeah.
100%.
But even then, like, my point, like, Bane caught Batman, like, at...
No. Bane sat Batman up.
Yeah. That was planned, bro.
Yeah, he set him up.
He still caught him at a
Because
bad
Batman
time.
couldn't out detective him.
I mean, he just lost Jason Todd, so...
That's irrelevant.
That literally ties into the story of Nightfall and Bane catching Batman. Like, literally, Jason Todd dies. Batman goes to find Joker, fights him with Superman's help. And then everything happened. Bane catches him. Boom. And then new Batman.
Not to keep bringing this back up, but would Riddler count as someone with special needs? The Riddler?
No, he's just a narcissist.
No, he's just a
He's an
dude.
attention-seeking narcissist.
Did you see the movie? He was kind of doing.
Oh, no, I thought you meant comic book.
Oh no,
No,
this interpretation of Joker, and
Riddler.
I mean Riddler. Sorry, this
Yeah.
interpretation of Riddler.
I
You said special needs?
Yeah, a little.
That's the word you want to go
Or
with?
autistic.
Oh, no, he wasn't autistic. He was, I mean, my man's basically...
He was on the spectrum, is what I'm trying to say. No, I think it's okay. I genuinely, I think it's okay to do that if your guy has like superpowers.
I get what you're saying, but if you feel that way about the Riddler, everybody in that movie was kind of giving me those vibes. So that's the reason why I'm thinking that like they
who?
weren't going for Bruce, wait. I'm gonna be real with you, Bruce.
A little bit.
Actually, the only people that I didn't have any concerns about was anybody that wasn't like the main focus. So I mean, like Jim Gordon was cool. Alfred clearly had his shit together, but Bruce and Riddler both were giving me some very like, how do y'all learn vibes?
Character on the street 1, character on the street 2.
Yeah, they were all, you know what I mean, safe, but maybe. Yeah, I don't know. No, I didn't get that vibe from him. I was getting the vibe that he was a man breaking down.
Okay.
Like, because clearly at that point in his life, he started putting on that mask, and he even said it, like, that was his alter ego. So him being in this mask is literally him adding a persona to his life. So I wasn't expecting everything to be kind of all together.
So him hallucinating that him and Batman can like be friends and shit in the jail, like coming up with that story.
No. In his head, him and Batman were doing the same thing.
Okay.
Batman was beating up criminals, which is an illegal activity, just like on his own, because he took it under his own. And he was like, okay, well, I also want to clean up the city I live in.
Yeah.
And these are the motherfuckers that are at the head of this shit. Like, so in his head, he was thinking like, Batman's going to be proud of me because I'm actually cutting off the head of the snake, not just chopping off the body parts.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't even say that was that's all. He was going crazy. Like, the only way we can make this better is by killing people. That's it.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
You been you watched Moonlight? You been watching Moonlight?
Oh, 100%.
You fuck with it?
Oh, 110%. I'm fucking with Moon Knight more and more. Like, and knowing that he was actually Marvel Batman,
yeah,
kind of just makes it convenient because we were already talking about it. Like, but you know, they actually, unlike DC, they don't tell us that Moon Knight's just a regular dude. You know what I mean? They explain that he has some advanced healing skills from Khonshu and, you know, super strength and shit like that. But him and Batman, as far as like feats are concerned, are on about the same level. But DC will lie to my face day in, day out and be like, nah, Batman's a regular ass dude. He has no superpowers. He has nothing aiding him. There's no Bat God strengthening him.
I thought there was always a theory that Batman was a metahuman.
No.
Him and Green Lantern.
They say he's
Green Arrow.
He's at peak human condition. He is the optimal human.
That's why he's the fucking GOAT.
That's how he was able to get 30-something masters at the age of 33.
Yeah, that shit's impossible.
Which, by the way, it takes like 5 years to get a master.
Hey,
it takes a lifetime to learn one martial art, let alone
all of them.
And 10 years.
All of them. I'm like, bro, like something has to be.
Yeah.
He has a photographic memory, too. That's one of Batman's traits. That's one of the ones they don't really talk about, but that's one of his things.
Yeah.
Money and influence.
Money that
gets
money
you a lot of places.
Yeah, but it doesn't get you to be on that level.
It doesn't make the time that it takes to learn something shorter. The reason why it takes X amount of time to get a master's degree is because that's how much time it's going to take you to absorb that material. Like
the photographic memory does help. Like Doctor Strange talked about it in his first movie.
Oh, 100%.
That's what helps him learn is all his spells is the photographic memory. But still, that's a lot of information. This nigga is well versed in science, detective work, mathematics, weaponry. He doesn't even use guns, but the nigga's proficient in all weapons. Come on.
When you're the GOAT, like, you don't have to explain what the fuck you do.
Bro, he has a master's degree in literally forensic science, like 30-something master's degrees. Do you hear me?
Yeah, when you're the GOAT, you don't gotta explain shit.
I don't know if you know how math works, but 5 times 30 is 150. All right?
Yeah.
So he has the knowledge that somebody would take 150 years to accumulate.
Yeah.
And we're talking about even less of a time because what was he doing? Studying to get his master's and learning martial arts at the same time?
Hey. He's him.
You know what's easier for me to believe?
What, he's a fucking superhero?
That he has superpowers.
Right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
he's
a lot
amazing.
easier for me to believe. I can stomach that. Not that he's built different, you know what I
He's
mean?
built different. Like that's the perfect way. He's
Correct.
built different.
He's built different, the same way Superman's built different. He's an alien,
Let's relax.
not from this planet.
Let's relax on Superman.
I'm waiting for the reveal.
At the very least, he has to have some type of like drugs that he takes. Like he's got money. He's got Bruce Wayne money. You know, he's got.
I mean, he drinks. What's that shit? What's that shit? Ra's al Ghul dips in the Lazarus.
The
pit.
Lazarus. He drinks that shit.
Sometimes, you know, keeps himself young.
All right.
I don't know
Just a
about
little
that.
refresher.
I remember in Smallville, Green Arrow. I forgot his name, the guy who plays Green Arrow, but he was taking that drug for a minute that gave him like healing powers, but he started tweaking off that. Like he was being like a dickhead and shit.
Yeah.
And Clark Kent was like, "You gotta stop, bro. Like that shit is wild." It was basically like the steroid that just gave him super healing.
Nah, bro. They don't give Batman none of that. I read the Hush comic. I read the Court of Owls comic, and I was sitting up here like, y'all got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
My man's Batman was literally grappling from one building to another, and somebody cut his grappling hook line, and he fell from the top of the skyscraper all the way down to the ground, head first.
No, he didn't use his glider.
Caught him slipping.
Yeah.
Literally, he wasn't prepared. Literally caught it, falls all the way to the ground, head first, cracks his skull, hits up his homeboy, who ends up being Hush, right? Who comes and fixes it, also puts a chip in his head at the same time. And then literally the next day, my man's is out back on the streets fighting again as Batman. And I'm sitting up here like, I got questions, you know what I mean? Like, one, how did you fall that far? And the only thing that happened was your skull was cracked.
What did the chip do? Like,
That was for
tracking him.
Yeah, because the Hush comic actually, it was the reason why I love Hush so much was because Hush's whole thing was just basically driving Batman crazy. Like if you when you read the Hush comic, because Batman goes through some shit in the Hush comic. Yeah. When you read the Hush comic, it's just he's getting increasingly more paranoid, like to the point where he doesn't trust basically anybody because he doesn't know who's orchestrating everything that's happening. Okay. Because it starts off, I think, Poison Ivy is the first person that pulls up on him. And Poison Ivy pulls up on him in the sense of she didn't got to Superman and has used her powers basically to have Superman fighting for her. So she has Superman roll up on Batman. Damn. So at the time, Batman's teamed up with Catwoman. And Catwoman ends up helping him out to the point where they can beat Superman. And that's how they get past it. But he also ends up turning his back on her because he's like, I can't trust you. So it's like the only ally he has in this situation because everybody around him is going nuts and all of a sudden they're trying to like just gunning for him. Yeah. Because Hush is basically telling everybody like, yo, take Batman out or else. That's your ass.
Wasn't like Hush's like main like his beef with Batman was like, besides the fact he knew he was Bruce Wayne, it was like your parents let my parents die type shit.
Yeah. It was some super childish
like
shit.
It's like nigga, nothing you personally did, but your parents let my parents die. Oh no, his dad saved his parents. He wanted his parents to die, and he got mad about that. It's like
it was Hush's motives were completely ridiculous, but what he did, crazy, because he was the one who cut Batman's line and made him fall in the first place, so he could put this chip into his head. I think he was using it to like track him or something like that. But when Batman finds out there's a chip in his head, it just makes him paranoid because he's like, "How the fuck did this happen? Yeah, somebody did this to me. Somebody planned this." Like, because he doesn't know this is his first time ever meeting Hush.
How did he get the chip out of his head?
I don't think he actually like gets the chip out of his head as much as like, I think that ends up being like the nail in the coffin where he's like, wait, the only person who could have done this was this person. But gotcha. I don't know this man to be anything but a surgeon and a friend, like a lifelong friend.
Bro, it got so bad to the point where Hush had Clayface pull up on Batman disguised as Jason Todd. Like, that's how down
literally was fucking with his head.
My
the whole
man's caught
time.
him lacking. So, like, my man's Batman was like, yo, what the fuck, Jason?
Yeah, all Batman's villains basically just fucking with him all at once. And just fucked with his head. It was a psychological attack the whole time.
That's crazy.
Because Hush didn't have any powers or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's just a dude wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Like, he broke Batman down. But the Court of Owls was even worse. My man's Talon was literally just slicing Batman to ribbons the whole comic. My man's Batman bled out 17 times in the sewers, bro, of Gotham.
How's Batman supposed to compete with niggas like Superman when he's just getting fucked up by niggas with no powers? Hush, Joker, Penguin. It's like all these niggas don't have any powers, and they're fucking you up on a nightly basis.
It's actually funny because Batman's powered villains fare worse against him than his non-powered villains. His non-powered villains have his number way better than his
Killer
powered
Croc,
villains.
he be beating that nigga's ass.
Literally works him every single time.
Like,
every single time he works him.
Fuck Superman. But,
yikes. It's not even about that, bro. It's not even about that. All I'm saying is, they come out and say my man's Batman has superpowers, I would let out a sigh of relief And then I actually probably put this nigga a little bit higher up on my list. But most of the hate that I have for him is the fact that he's at peak human condition. Because now I'm offended. What you trying to say about me, bro?
Oh,
I spent time in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never got close to Batman level. I ain't jumping off of no building, landing head first, and walking away with just a cracked skull.
I don't know. Try it and find out.
It's okay.
What do you think about Jim Gordon being black?
Oh, that didn't bother me at all. I love the actor that played Jim Gordon, actually,
Yeah.
because he was in all the James Bond movies.
Yes, sir.
I didn't mind it.
Do you see an issue with people getting online talking about how that's an issue for him being black and Catwoman being black and the mayor being black? Like that was
honestly, I feel like Catwoman has been black for a minute. Like not black, but like she's been like.
She wasn't the first black Catwoman because Halle Berry was a black Catwoman.
Yeah.
But it's fake outrage. Like Catwoman can be black or white.
Is it though? Because I'd be sick if Blade was a white woman. If fucking
That's different.
How is that different?
That's different.
This is a black dude being turned into another. I don't know.
Well, all right. So if Blade was a white guy, I would be sick. I'd be sick to my stomach.
You got turned to a black guy.
No, if Blade got turned into a white
dude,
guy,
I will, and he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. I understand where he's coming from. The same way if they later on down the line decides Miles Morales can't be Miles Morales anymore, and they change him into a white dude, or
Asian kid.
or Virgil Hawkins, Static Shock.
Oh yeah.
Ends up being just some blonde white kid with blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have some smoke about that.
But
So is it fake outrage or
these characters were white during a time when if you had a black character, like you're not going far. Like if you even show the slightest shade of black on these characters, we're canceling your fucking comic.
Lucius Fox is black.
He's a known black man. Like I think he started out being black.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm telling you is there's always been black characters.
Hold on. But Lucius Fox was introduced very, very late in
That's
the
true.
Batman game.
That's true.
Like OG Batman used guns and shit. Like Batman evolved too. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't. Lucius Fox wasn't introduced when Batman first came out.
But
He
Batman,
wasn't a day one Batman character.
but Batman's always been Caucasian. Bruce Wayne has always been Caucasian.
Correct.
So all I'm saying, I don't hate it because obviously I'm black, so it's nice to see black superheroes. But I feel like I can see how these white people or whoever would be upset that a lot of these guys are being black. Being changed.
My thing is sometimes they try and like force it. Like let's make try and be diverse, and it's okay to keep some of these characters white. Like I promise you, I'm not gonna like be upset. Yo, why is fucking why is Spider-Man not black? Like I don't care. Like he can stay white. I don't care. Like hell,
It's not Spider-Man being black. It's Peter Parker being black.
they can keep him. They can keep him white. Like or if they turn Clark Kent black, I'd be like, let's not do that. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to keep some of these characters white. I
feel like anybody that comes out and says that they're upset about that is just exposing themselves as being closeted racist. I'm gonna be real with you. That's the only way I can see you having smoke about that. I get why.
How can you say you would also be sick if Blade was a white guy?
Because it's a representation thing.
Okay.
Like when you look at comics traditionally, like traditional comic heroes, we got 10 black dudes, and then out of the hundreds and hundreds of heroes there are, everybody else is white. That's all because of when they came out, not because of, you know what I mean? Like Blade was one of those people that came out, and we were like, there was a pride aspect to Blade being a black hero.
Gotcha.
Same with like Luke Cage, and you know what I mean? Like these are black men, and there's a pride aspect to it. So taking that away kind of completely eradicates the history of that character, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
While as turning a traditionally white character into a black character or a Spanish character or whatever, that's not going to ruin that character.
Because there's so many other white characters.
100%. Especially when it's like smaller characters. It'd be one thing if it was a black Batman. I understand you being up in arms, but Jim Gordon, nah, he can be black, bro. It's all
He's a side character. Like
it's all right,
side
bro.
characters
Like,
turning black. I'm not like.
No, yeah, I definitely feel
Like,
you.
but if they turn Black Panther white, I would
That's
feel
gonna be an
1,000%. Like, I would have an issue. Like, first of all, the name by itself.
Wakanda.
Like, that's what
Number
I'm saying.
two,
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like-
how you get a white dude? Like, when did this happen? Like,
Yeah, but they let that, what's his name? They let that white guy slide. Come to Wakanda. I know it's a little off topic, but what's his name?
Claw?
No. The white guy who saved the day.
The agent. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name either, though.
I know that doesn't track of what we were talking about, but he shouldn't have been allowed in.
All right.
They should have let him.
But that was T'Challa who the king gave the order. You know what I'm saying? There was no going against that. And regardless of how they felt, my man's was getting saved. T'Challa was like, yeah, no, I said fix him.
So what else has been out? Morbius came out. Did you see that? You seen Morbius?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Wow.
The action was fire, right?
The action was definitely fire. And I actually was. It's funny because I had just recently rewatched the 90s Spider-Man comic.
Okay.
And Morbius and the 90s Spider-Man comic was actually kind of comical. I'm not going to lie to you. My man's literally had like little suction cups in his hands, and he would absorb people's plasma through it.
That's dope.
Like he had all his powers, but like it was also kind of funny to look at because like his victims would be like, "Oh no, we don't know what happened to him," but they have like these little suction marks on them, like you know what I mean? Like, so I like the fact that they didn't go that route with it. But at the same time, you know, I was really pulling for my man's Jared Leto to just get something right.
He wasn't bad. Jared Leto wasn't bad in the movie. The movie was atrocious. The movie was very bad. But it was, in my opinion. But the action was amazing. I just didn't like the stupid shit like when Milo came around, when Jared Leto was doing his first experiment to see how long he could go without blood. I don't know what his conclusion was supposed to be. Was he supposed to just die? But he was locked in this cage, and he was doing a test to find out how long he could go without blood. And he's sitting there dying, and Milo comes in and opens the door like to try to help him out. And Jared Leto's like, I need blood. Milo gets the blood and gives him this artificial blood that Morbius came up with.
Yeah.
He gives it to him, and then Milo's like, so what's up? You found a cure. Can I use the cure? Like, what's going on? He's like, bro, didn't you just see me dying over some blood? Like, this is not a cure. This is a curse. And then Milo, turns on him, and they become enemies after that.
Actually, that part made sense to me.
Okay.
And it's because they were in the same situation. And I can understand being in the viewpoint of, bro, like, I'm dying. You're trying to tell me there's something out there that can prevent me from dying, and you already took it, but apparently it's a curse. Dying is the curse. I would rather live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it came down at that point, it was a jealousy thing. It was like, nah, you came up with this. I've been funding you, and now you're trying to keep the discovery all to yourself. But you figured it out. You figured out how to fix me.
Milo was funding him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Milo was the one who was funding him. He was the bankroll for that whole project.
Where did Milo get the money from?
I have no idea. I don't know if his family was just supposed to be, like, rich in the first place.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, Milo was definitely he was the one who was putting the money into the project.
I didn't know that.
He had a vested interest as well.
Got you.
On top of, I have the same affliction.
Yeah. If all I'm saying is I'm Milo and I see this nigga tweaking out over some blood, I'm be like, maybe there's still some bugs that need to be fixed, and maybe that could be healed down the line. But to immediately take what this nigga has just seems a little weird.
But you're thinking of it as a person who's not terminal.
You're right.
You know what I mean? My man's was looking at it as like, nah, bro, like I could have days left to live. I don't know when I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me you got something right here, right now, fuck it, bro. We can work through the bugs together. But as long as I get to live, like that's what's important. That's
fair. That's actually fair. But yeah, the action was amazing. When he would use his echolocation and his what is it? Bullet time?
Yes.
Bullet time, that shit was hard. But yeah, there was a lot of things that didn't make sense, like Vulture. We were talking about the after credit scene.
Yeah.
How Morbius wants to fuck up Spider-Man now for no apparent reason.
Or how they threw in the trailer that Spider-Man, was it like he was a killer on the poster or something?
Yeah.
Like that was never in the movie.
And it was a Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Right, that's what I was like. Sony, like they threw in Spider-Man references to get people to come to the movie.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. I'm very happy that some of the old things were taken out because I feel like they might have had a different direction, and I feel like the reason why they cut out certain things was because of No Way Home. And that means that my man's Andrew Garfield might have another chance at a movie.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's what they're setting up for.
Most definitely.
And that's why they cut out all
Most definitely. He's coming
the
back.
previous material. So I actually had no problems with that. Like, as much as I was like, y'all reaching for this one, but I can fuck with it because I know what this is like alluding to, basically.
But how did Vulture get his suit? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a plot hole.
Okay.
There's no Avengers in the Sony universe.
Fair enough. Which means there was no New York attack, which means there was no...
My point, so, like, did this nigga just randomly just make this shit? Like, you know what? Here's a suit.
Well, let's be real, because Vulture did make his suit. It's not like during the New York attack, we saw somebody flying through the city in a Vulture suit. You know what I mean? He didn't steal it.
Tinker made his suit.
Okay.
That nigga, I feel like is like a, what is it, electronic, we're not good at electronics, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he made that suit, and I don't think he's smart enough to like be able to design stuff for that suit.
Let's say
Vulture does make his own suit.
Yeah, Vulture. I know he does in the comics.
Yeah.
But let's say even in MCU, like you got to also look at it, the time gap between when Vulture started his operation as Vulture,
Got you,
and when Spider-Man actually stopped him, because at that point it had been what,
5 years.
Was it 5, 8 years?
2012 and then Homecoming. 2017, 2012.
No, they fixed it. Remember, it was supposed to be 10 years in the movie, and then they reneged in what do you call it when you go back and change something? Retcon. They retconned it to 8 years.
So, well, even
8 years between Homecoming and Avengers 1.
Even if whether it was 8 years or 5 years, even in the 5 years, like they went through it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't come up with that product in the first place. Let's assume that Vulture's suit was probably very much like Spider-Man making his suit and, you know, Andrew Garfield's versions, where it's like, or like Deadpool trying to figure out how his suit was going to look. You know what I mean? There was some trial and error aspect to it.
Yeah.
He probably would have had to pick up on something because he was the one flying it. So anything that needed to be modified, it was based off of what he was saying. Like, yo, I was flying it, but I couldn't see shit. Fix that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what are you about to do to make this better? Like, convince me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I can drive my car, but nobody can ask me how to. And I've been driving my car for the past 10 years. No one can ask me how to fucking fix that shit.
Fair enough.
And I feel like that's for most people.
Fair enough. Like, nobody could. They definitely couldn't ask me to build a car from scratch.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from.
I can be like, damn, this car, it kind of drives to the left a little bit, but I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I can kind of point out aspects to it, but I can't really like.
What? And then like also, so did he like forget like Spider-Man? Like, was that like erased from his memory? Like, how did that Doctor Strange spell work strictly on him to bring him to Sony?
It clearly didn't work on him because he remember who. No, I don't know if you know his identity.
He knows who Spider-Man is.
He does.
But let's also look at the fact, because you're going off the assumption that Doctor Strange's spell was perfect. But the whole reason why we had a movie is because he casted this spell and he said he contained it, but some people slipped through. So clearly there were some side effects of this spell that we maybe not have had at the forefront, you know?
Yeah.
The main purpose was everybody was trying to come into their universe, but we don't know what all the other little tiny bits, because he didn't even know people had slipped through. He had contained it.
All right. We got to take a bit of an intermission. This is the end of our YouTube and YouTube Live portion of our episode. Be sure to check out our Patreon at YCC Entertainment for the next hour, where we can dive into more topics. Andrew Garfield, we're going to bring him up, and a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about. Shit. But we appreciate you guys for watching. This is Blerd, and peace out.